And there are men in the box, and it comes for Pablo Hernandez, and Pablo Hernandez scores a goal for Leeds United. Oh, goal, a goal, a goal. Yeboah, on he goes. Oh! Even by his standards, breathtakingly brilliant.
Hang on a minute, here's Nelson, can he win it? Yes he can! Leeds United are on their way to Wembley! Johnny Howson again!
And the ball's over Brown, and this is Beckford, he just ran away from him, but he'll still get a strike in and goal, and score at the Stretford end for Leeds United, and it doesn't get any better than that for a Leeds centre-forward.
Good ball, Becchio well placed! Leeds United draw level on aggregate!
Well, the roof has just been lifted off Ellen Road. What an incredible noise we are witnessing here.
What is going on, everybody? You're very welcome back to Leeds Bros for a certainly different stream to what we're used to here on Leeds Bros. Live in person. We're going to have a Christmas point and a chat ahead of Leeds United's trip to the Stadium of Light to take on Sunderland. Hopefully, everyone had a fantastic Christmas with your loved ones. Hope it was a really good one. We had an enjoyable one, as you can tell by the head on the two of us today. But I do hope it was a good one. Dillo, what's happening?
Oh, good, lads. Yeah, back at it again. Enjoyed a few days off. It's just, you know yourself, it's just be dead in the water. You'd be watching the darts, or you'd be watching, you just want football, and you want Leeds back playing. So, really looking forward to that. Yeah, had a nice Christmas. Nice and easy. Santi came to me as well, so happy out. I hope everyone had a lovely, enjoyable Christmas, and I hope they enjoy the rest of their time off.
Class. Right, let's get into a couple of the comments, see how everybody was keeping. Tony Walton says, "Hey up Leeds folk, hope you all had a great Christmas. You too, Tony, hope you had a good one, pal. Smash a like and subscribe," says Danny. Please do that. Leeds late bros. Yeah, apologies about that, but the time we moved everything around and changed everything up, Danny, we took a while to get us going. Stephen says, think it would be unchanged from Palace. I'd love you'd love Willie, would you? I'd love to Willie to get a start, but I think Brendan has earned his start. It would be amazing to have so many options in this squad. Absolutely, yeah. I think it'll be unchanged as well, but we'll get into that. Afternoon says, Inky afternoon, pal. Hope you're having a good Boxing Day / Stephen's Day. Beer in the sun and the Leeds Bros. What more could you want? Cheers, pal. What a great man cave. Cheers. Yeah, this is the old man cave. This is where the old setup is. Is that the Mew? It's the mini Mew, pal. Love the top Darren. Yeah, new Christmas one. Thanks very much to the mother-in-law who sorted us out. So, Dylan, Sunderland up next. Big game for Leeds United. A chance to extend our lead again away from the relegation zone. But what are we thinking on Old PowerPoint?
I was just about to say that. I'm not talking anymore now until there's a point being bought. I think it's good for Leeds to start gaining points, that momentum going forward. Obviously, there's a lot of players going from Sunderland to the AFCON Cup. So, there's potentially a chance for Leeds to start getting that gap again. Look, obviously, 6 points is 6 points. I'm only having one here now myself. But, I mean... Look, it's good. I think it's great that Leeds are getting that momentum back. We're starting to pull away from them bottom three. And then, yeah, as I said, Sunderland, they're a great side. Obviously came up with us last year, but it's, you know, we were all talking about this at the start of the season with the AFCON Cup coming up, that potentially there are a lot of players that will be missing. So it could be a chance for us to get 3 points. And then, you know, yourself, it's Christmas time as well. These are the ones that, you know, the players are coming back overweight, underweight. Overweight, like myself, and like to get a few points on the board. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Really, really look. That point looks delicious.
Get into a couple more of the comments here. Willie to take the long throws. Willie, we keep on putting on the long throws. Keep on putting on them. Paul says we'll go 1-1 draw. Tricky match. Atmosphere should be fine. Over 3,000 peacocks going up as well. Yeah, look, I think it's an opportunity, obviously, Dylan, for Leeds United to get something up there with Sunderland. 7, I think, has gone to the AFCON Cup for them. I think it's a real opportunity. Look at the they're on a really good run as well. Did a good win against Newcastle in the Tyne-Wear derby. They went down to Brighton and got a point down there, which I actually thought was really good. Obviously, Leeds went down there and we got turned over fairly easy by Brighton, and I thought Brighton would have bet them, but they got a good point on the road down there. So that's even missing the players that they are missing from the AFCON Cup. So we definitely can't underestimate them. We know that they still have players with potential. Lafay, Granit Xhaka is in there. Like he's massive, absolutely massive to them. So it's got to be a tough game. There's no doubt about it. And it's Leeds United's away record again. We said it before, Brentford. This is still my worry. Leeds United away from home was what sort of Leeds United is going to show up at. Ellen Road, I back us against absolutely anybody. But it is away from home. So it's going to be a big game. If you offered me a point now, absolutely, I would take it 100%. But yeah, it's a big game. But certainly we can go up there, take all 3 points. I would think it's going to be unchanged. I can't see Daniel Farke changing too much, especially after a 4-1 win against Crystal Palace. Now, hopefully everyone's going to come back from the Christmas you said okay and fit and fire and ready to go. But I think Brendan Aronson absolutely deserves a start in the game. He was really good against Crystal Palace, which at the time when Farke announced the starting 11 against Palace, I wasn't too sure with Brendan Aronson being in there. I thought we should have went with Tanaka. But Brendan Aronson, we needed a little bit of legs in midfield, and he showed that, and we're probably going to need that against Sunderland as well up in the Stadium of Light. So I think he probably will go with Brendan Aronson. Would you be much the same with that?
You know, as I said, we're building that momentum, and we know exactly what we're capable of doing. I think Palace, you know, you go back to certain games where we have won, and they haven't been at the right races. You know, the opposition. For me, look, Palace are a really good side. It's not one of the matches you come away and you go, you know, well, they were very poor and that's why it made us look good. I think we grabbed it. Ellen Road as well helps. So, you know, you keep talking about the away fixtures that seem to be our issue. And it is an issue. But the potential and what we just see it against Palace, especially with the rotation, with players coming on and grabbing the game changers.
Yeah.
We're going down the right road. So there's no reason at all. I know we're slumping from these away fixtures, but there's no reason that Leeds can't go out with that same dominance and projectile exactly into that game, similar to what they've done at Palace. But like that, it's Christmas as well. It's, you know, everything's going in our favour at the minute, especially with players being away from the AFCON Cup. The only issue is, as you said, players coming back from Christmas, whether they're, you know, full as a boot,
ready to
still
go,
caught injuries or underweight or couldn't get, or just simply not fit enough. But for me, I think Brendan Aronson, I think he does deserve a start. And Darren, you know, we've been saying it week in, week out, especially this season in the Premier League. Rotation is key, and we're starting to utilise all them players. I know I keep saying it, lads, but it's very important, and you can see what it does to the team. And not only that as well, for the players that are coming on, they have that bit between their teeth. I need to get on here, and I need to make an impact. If I keep playing the same squad week in, week out, then the lads just expect it. There's no competition for places, and that's what you need in this league.
Tony says, like and add to get to our bros. Like and subscribe and get our bros to 4K before the new year. Please do that, guys. That would be absolutely fantastic. As I said, a little bit more of a chilled stream today. We're usually a little bit more professional than this, but we said we'll sit down and we'll have a point today and a chat with you guys because it's Christmas. Make it feel a little bit more real. Stephen says, looking forward to seeing the Welsh warrior Joe Rodon playing on the right wing again. And that's it. And we have to, like, a massive shout out to Joe Rodon as well, because, like, as I keep saying with him, Dylan, it's unbelievable what he's achieved this time coming to Leeds United, obviously from that loan spell. You know, to make 100 appearances in a row for Leeds United, I think it was the first since Norman Hunter to do it. Like, that can't go unnoticed. And his role, his position, what he played against Crystal Palace, Dylan, like, I thought he was unbelievable because he was very much on that right hand side of the back three, but he was very much pushing forward. And, like, I didn't think he'd have that in his game, but he was fantastic again and again. It just shows how versatile someone like Joe Rodon is and how important he is to Leeds United. You
go back to the Liverpool game and his missed time place pass. You know, it was a shocker. Don't get me wrong, but you know, he's that much credit in the bank what he's done for Leeds over the last 100 appearances. He's allowed one or two of them. Apart from that, when he hasn't been at the races, the following match he is. I don't know if he does look at social media. I'm not saying he watches us or watches other content, but
definitely watches
he probably does. I know for a fact he's that type of player that I know he needs to be better. He has that mentality and that kind of charisma in him that drives him forward. He's not one of these that confident. He is a confidence player, but a confidence player where he knows he's had a bad game and feels sorry for himself. He's one, I need to just improve. And he keeps going at it. And as you said, yeah, first player to get 100 appearances since Norman Hunter. A round of applause for him because he's really held his own. He's with Spurs, obviously, and then came to us on loan. It was just immense. And then we were all saying, is it going to be one of these players?
He's a massive part, I think, of this Leeds side, and like that, we haven't seen him injured for a period of time yet. And I do think Joe Rodon is one of them players. And I know Stephen in the chat is a big admirer of Joe Rodon. Like, I worry what sort of Leeds United would you see without him, because I do think he holds a lot of it together, and you do see him on the pitch. He does lead from the front at times. When I've gone over the games and you watch Joe Rodon closely, he is a conductor in there. You do see him pointing and telling people where to go, where to cover, where their man is. I think he's a massive part of what Leeds United have been doing over the last 2 years under Daniel Farke, and what Leeds United are doing in the Premier League now. So yeah, massive kudos out to him, and to show that versatility, for Daniel Farke to be brave enough to do that, I think it was absolutely fantastic. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from Leeds United over the last couple of weeks, because it was there for a period of time. We looked very inflexible. We looked like things were only going one way. We were very rigid, where now you don't know what sort of Leeds United is going to show up. And even against Crystal Palace, like, it surprised me a lot with Joe Rodon pushing forward. Brendan Aronson being able to come back into the fold as well. So we have that now in our locker, that we're able to change when things aren't going well and adapt to the opposition, which there for a period of time. It didn't seem like Daniel Farke had that in him. So I'm positive, really positive about Leeds United. As I said, look, away from home, I still feel like the away hoodoo is there a little bit with Daniel Farke. So it's always going to be the away games that I looked at to see how Leeds United are going to perform. Yeah. But at home at Elland Road, as I said, we'll back us against absolutely anyone. It's been so good.
Well, it's plan B as well, Darren, what you said.
When we get some of this before we go. Slide you, lads. Happy Christmas.
I'm waiting.
Get into a couple of these comments. It's freezing cold. Tony says, afternoon, lads. Hope you all had a great Christmas. I absolutely did, pal. Hope you did as well. Can I order a point, please? Absolutely, Tony. It's on the house, pal. On the house for you. Them points look delicious, lads. They're lovely. Freezing cold because the cooler's been on all morning. Wasn't even thinking of a point now. Oh, you want one? You have to. You have to. Stephen's Day, Boxing Day. Keep it going. Send one of them over here. Looks like a good pour. It is. I have the line. If anyone that's a Guinness merchant, I have the line cut to about that much. So it goes straight from the keg, straight up in through the tap. So
and then straight down the back of the throat.
It doesn't get any fresher. Lynette Carlin says, afternoon, Lynette. Hope the head isn't too sore today. Paul says, our set piece coaches are working miracles, and we are scoring from set pieces now. Ampadu's long throws are dynamite. And Dylan, like, I know last season particularly, and even the first season under Daniel Farke, that it really got to you about how poor Leeds United were at from set pieces, that corners were just non-existent. We were hitting the first man. We didn't look threatening. Every time we went over a corner, we knew nothing was going to happen. But now, especially against Crystal Palace, and we've seen it progress over the last couple of weeks, but against Palace, Dylan, like, we looked very good. Like, every set piece, every throw, every free kick that came in, we looked threatening, and we've really turned into big bastards FC now. I
think you have to give praise, lads. And I hope people don't want to hear this, but you have to kind of give praise to the recruitment side, because it seemed to be a thing that was what we were going to nail down this season, was set pieces and making the most out of them. Now, going back to the AC Milan game in Dublin, we obviously seen Anton Stack taking the corner, and we were all kind of, what was going on here? More or less the tallest person on the pitch, and he's taking the corner. He should be in for them. And obviously he's still taking them, but you go back to Joe Rodon. We said you need to bring to his game a few goals, getting up for them. We know Stroud can do it. Yeah. Now Rodon started to chip in as well. And then obviously from the long throws going a bit more direct. It just seems to be working. Everyone seems to be on the same kind of page when it comes to set pieces. I'm not wasting them. You said it before. They're the 1%ers. It's a chance in order to get the ball into the box and see what happens. And we're getting goals from it. Even down to our crosses as well. Our corners, sorry, they seem
the deliveries into the box have been a lot better now as well. We've obviously seen Calvert-Lewin. He's really came to the fore and really thrived over this with Leeds United's improvement in set pieces. But also, you said the quality of the deliveries now that are going into the box are starting to give him more chances as well, and that's why he is starting to score more goals. Which there for a while, like especially you would say pre-Manchester City, we hadn't got that quality going into the box of Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin he was feeding off scraps. He wasn't really getting opportunities, where now he is getting the opportunities, and we see him doing, like, some of the headers that he's scoring have been absolutely fantastic. When you look at the one at Brentford, Willie Nanto's delivery into the box, we know that he has that. When you look at Ampadu's long throw against Crystal Palace, the flick on Buyall, like, he's there, he's ready to go, to Peter off the back of the defender and been able to get on the end of it. So we're seeing that now. We're starting to see a lot more quality from Leeds United deliveries into the box. We've really worked on set pieces as well, and we've always been saying to Dylan that with us this season in the Premier League, that it is going to be them 1%ers. It is going to be the likes of set pieces that are going to win games for Leeds United, and particularly defending them, because we do look good at defending them as well. But yeah, it's class. I'm just happy now that we've moved to this, because the recruitment in the summer was built for this Leeds United, not for the possession football that we were playing at the start of the season and trying to play out from the back and being too passive. This side isn't built for that. It is built to go a little bit more direct, a little bit longer, you know, and feeding off them scraps and being good at set pieces as well. So we're playing to our strengths the last couple of weeks. So it's kudos to Daniel Farke and the lads, and we're really seeing them come into their own now.
Certain individuals as well. I think Ampadu, you're going to have to give praise to. I got nothing but stick last season into this season as well. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's a thing for me that I want more on my captain and you know, a leader, that kind of quality. Sound like Roy Keane here, but his tackles that he's been putting in have been unbelievable. You know, he's taking them clean off the map. As you said, he's going direct. He's doing his long throws. But Darren, one thing for me, he's not slowing the game down anymore. He's letting it off the shackles now. Whether that's coming from Fark or whether he's bringing that to his game, it seems to be a bit more when he's on the ball now. You know he's going to move it quick. And we've seen that at Palace. And that's what I'm really liking. Free-flowing football and making impact. And that seems to be what's going on at the minute. And you have to give lads, every single one of them, you know, even, let's be honest, lads, Gruev is surprising me because, look, he's not getting enough game time, but when he has came on, he's looked all right. He's looked all right. So I think all the boys need to give a pat on the back. Daniel Fark needs a pat on the back. And then on top of that, we have plan B. And then it's nice going in, like now, trying to predict the lineup. And I know we're probably saying he's going to go with the same lineup. We don't know. Yeah. For a few weeks there,
I thought that against Palace. I thought we would have had the same lineup against Palace. I thought Tanaka would have came in and there wasn't going to be much deviation away from it. And I don't think there is going to be a Sunderland. But when he brought Brendan Aronson into that midfield three, like, I wasn't expecting that again. So this is what I keep saying. You need to be unpredictable, especially in the Premier League, when you're coming up against, you know, top draw managers, and they've got background staff that analyse everything that Leeds United do. Like, if we know what Leeds United are going to do and we know how they're going to set up, the opposition manager is going to be able to do that and start lineup, and they can plan for that and train for that through the week. And I remember when you go back to the Brentford game, Keith Andrews said the same thing as well, that week that they had to train for both sides of Leeds United. They had to train for playing up against a 4-3-3 or the 3-5-2 because how well it went against Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City. So that's it is. It's keeping the opposition managers guessing through what Leeds United are going to do, who are they going to play, who's going to start. And that's something that's probably been missing from Daniel Farke, particularly, you know, in the Championship we got away with it because we had the best squad. But I think in the Premier League he came into this probably a little bit naive, thinking, you know, we could do the same thing in the Championship and get away with it. But we were kind of found out, weren't we, fairly quick, and it turned kind of drastic. And look, he's turned it around now. And like this, what I've been saying is, I'm liking this Leeds United now, that the unpredictability of it is that how we're going to set up, how we're going to play, and all the transition as well, Dylan. That when it's not working, because we've seen the 3-5-2 against Liverpool and against Brentford wasn't particularly working, and they were counteracting it. But to be able to switch back down to the 4-3-3 or the 3-5-2 and bring on the likes of your Brendan Aronson, your Willie Nantos, Tanakas as well, like, and to be able to get them into and change in game, that's something we haven't seen from Daniel Fark. So it's so good to see that, and I'm feeling very optimistic. Like, if you had asked me before Manchester City, I probably would have said with my heart saying that, yeah, it looks like Leeds United are going to go down, that I couldn't see who was going to go down instead of us.
There's no way out.
Yeah, when you look at that bottom three, like, Wolves are gone. Wolves are probably going to be the worst Premier League side we've ever seen. Burnley, I think, will go as well. And when Leeds United were in there, you're looking at the change in form that West Ham had under Nuno. They were kind of starting to, you know, gather a bit of momentum, good couple of results. Forest were pulling away. Fulham, I don't think, are going to be down there. Brentford were pulling away as well. So it was hard to see what one of them teams were going to go down instead of Leeds United. But the difference now, Dylan, again, who would have thought it? From Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Brentford, that Leeds would be outside by 6 points, you know, and everything looking rosy. And the Palace one, Dylan, was coming. Like, what a fantastic game that was. When I look back at that, I know the Chelsea one was good, but the Palace, that was the complete performance. So I think, like, obviously, apart from conceding a goal, like what a performance that was, and it could have been more.
Yeah.
We were just unbelievable.
Well, look, you take away the points there for a minute. I know we need to win games in order to stay in this division, but take that away for a minute. Forget about the points. It's the performance. We seem a bit more comfortable. We're going forward. We're making an impact, and we're scoring goals. One man in particular, DCL, I think he's phenomenal. He's probably the best free signing I've ever seen. But it's great for Leeds to see that we're not playing one certain way. We're playing 3 or 4 different ways, and a bit more impact. That's a bit more faster, quicker on the ball, and everyone just seems a bit more up at it.
Yeah,
they're all on the same page. They get it, And a few months ago we were talking about Jaden Bogle and Gabby Goodmunson being our main attacking threat.
Yeah.
Now, like, it shouldn't have been that. It should have been the other way around. It should have been our attackers being a bit more. Mitch is adding to his goals. Piero's only getting charity minutes, but we just see him a bit more at it. And I think that's where you have to kind of be happy the way Leeds are. Not only are we winning games as an out of bottom 3, we're playing like we deserve to be in the position we're in, as opposed to playing and just expecting fark out this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
We've switched it. Well, he switched it, and the team has. So praise, nothing but praise.
And when you look at it as well, then like obviously when we changed to the 3-5-2, you were looking at the likes of Calvert-Lewin and Meche and how they played together against Manchester City, how they played together against Chelsea. And when Meche got injured, you were not worrying, but you were kind of thinking, right, how is this going to look now? Who's coming in instead of Lucas Meche? Okafor's came in. I thought he's done a decent job. We've yet to see, in my opinion, a full 90 minutes of Noah Okafor being fully at it and fully ready to go. But he's done a fantastic job filling in there, Okafor. I do think Willie Gnonto will be good up beside Calvert-Lewin there as well. So it's shown, Dylan, that even when players are out injured, that we players that can come in, that are chomping at the bit to come into this team and play. And it shows in that midfield as well, Dylan, the options that we have in that midfield. Like Stack, I think it was absolutely fantastic, obviously, against Palace in the second half. Ampadu's been absolutely amazing since we've changed to this 3-5-2. He's been outstanding. He's been leading this team from the front in all these games. And then Brendan Aronson comes in against Palace and has an unbelievable game as well. And you still have the likes of Tanaka and Gruev on the bench as well. So the options, Longstaff is still out injured. He still has to come back into this Leeds side as well. So it's all positive at the minute. And this is what we wanted, wasn't it, as Leeds fans, is that give ourselves a fighting chance in the Premier League. This is what we want. And for that period of them 4 games, the 4 losses in a row, and the bad performances, I think that was probably the most disheartening thing about Leeds United, is that we weren't giving ourselves the opportunity to stay in the division. Now, since this change of formation, and probably the change of heart from Daniel Farke as well, maybe a little bit of pressure and the outside noise has probably forced them into this to be a little bit more flexible. It's working wonders, and you can see it suits these players. You can see the players are comfortable in this. When you look right across the park, the back 3 in Stroke, Rodon, Bial has looked fantastic the last couple of games.
Yes.
Gabby Goodmunson as well. Sometimes his defending, I think, lets him down a little bit, but going forward, he looks dangerous. Jaden Bogle, a little bit quiet against Crystal Palace, but he's been brilliant in this system as well. The midfield 3, you can't knock them at all.
Everton has had been linked with Jaden Bogle as well.
I'm seeing that,
I hope that doesn't happen.
Let's get into a couple of these comments here. Carl says, good afternoon, guys. Merry Christmas to you both. Looking forward to the games. Come on, Leeds, MOT. Merry Christmas to you too as well, pal. Hope you had a good one. I said a little bit different, just sitting here having a chat and a point about Leeds. I'm pleased for Dominic Stephen. He's found his scoring boot and does work the park that some fans miss as well. And that's it. When you look back to the Calvert-Lewin when he came in, he was obviously very similar to Manor Solomon signing when he came in. Obviously, an injury record behind him. We know he's a good player on his day when he's fit and ready to go. And it was one of them that we weren't sure if it works and we keep him fit and he's scoring goals, it's going to be a fantastic signing, very similar to Manor Solomon. And that's what's happened. But he's become a very important part of Leeds United now, hasn't he? And in my opinion, he looks like the signing of the summer. I know Anton Stack is up there, but Calvert-Lewin on a free 7 Premier League goals, like that's a really good return so far. He's
going in the right direction, and as I said, we're only at Christmas and touch wood, but I hope he has plenty more in the locker, and I hope he doesn't get any injuries going forward. But you see the comments I spoke, European clubs that were in for him and stuff. He wanted to come to Leeds.
Yeah,
and I think there's only a small handful of players that have done that to maybe bring them back down to earth. Like let's be honest, we're all fans, passionate Leeds fans that live in the clouds and, one day play back in European football or, potentially win the Premier League. But I'm not that. When you come back down to level earth and you look at Calvert-Lewin, it's kind of like I want a fresh restart, a reset button. And he's doing well. Lads, you have to give him praise on it. And like even me, going about Pirro coming on the bench, Nah, Calvert-Lewin needs to start. He's unbelievable in the air. He's unbelievable on the balls at his feet, takes down, brings players into play, and then the goals that he's scoring. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how they go in. They're going in the back of the net.
I've seen a graph of them. They're all literally right on the 6-yard box, say, right along the line, so he knows. And I know Jesse Marsh used to say it as well, let's stay in between the goalposts. That's where you score goals. And that's what Calvert-Lewin does. He keeps himself in the width of the goalpost. And that's where all his goals are coming from as well. And in the air, Dillo, like, he's absolutely fantastic. Like, literally against any Premier League defender, I would back Calvert-Lewin against him. When a quality ball comes into the box, he could beat anybody in the air. Like, he's that lethal. The leap on him as well. He's absolutely fantastic. And that's the key for me, Dylan, is keeping him fit. Now, I think there will be a period of time where Calvert-Lewin might get a knock and we might miss him for a game or two, and hopefully it isn't too long. So we're going to need to adapt to that when it does come along, because obviously he's had probably the last 3 years of injury-ravaged season. He hasn't lasted the 38-game season, including cup games as well. He hasn't been able to last that. So I think it's very unlikely that you'll see Calvert-Lewin being able to last the whole season without any sort of injury at all. So Leeds United obviously need to be ready for that as well. Daniel Farke does need to keep that in the back of his head, that if it does happen, right, how are we going from here? Do we go to Lucas Meche? Do we stick with the 3-5-2 as well? But he's been sensational, Dylan, and I can't speak highly enough of Calvert-Lewin coming in to Leeds United and how well he's been playing, because we all seen the interviews when he first came in and how much he was down, obviously, with what way he was going at Everton, being so injury prone. And basically his career was on the floor. To come to Leeds United, he looks like he's had a fresh start. He's enjoying his football. He's enjoying being at Leeds United. He's scoring goals. He's happy. He looks fit. And he looks ready to go. So, yeah, just long may it continue. In January, do you go get another striker maybe to go up there alongside him just in case? I think possibly.
I think, look, Meche is obviously doing well at the minute, but obviously he's carrying a knock. People were talking about selling Pirro. If you're not going to utilise Pirro, well, he needs to go. Yeah. It's very simple. And I know he's a different type of striker. They're all 3 different types of strikers. What we talked about Meche and Calvert-Lewin being up top. 2 big, strong men. Yeah. And they played well off each other. It's interesting what you said there about Gnonto. Gnonto is so young, so quick, and so agile.
Another point.
Yeah.
And he's in the chat want the point. I know Stephen Bourne wants a point anyway.
He's sitting there with the shades on, the legs out on the sunbed. But it works so well with Meche and Calvert-Lewin, and Willie Gnonto, I'm yet to see him go up front. And if he's not, as I said, for that sitting formation, if he's not going to utilise Pirro, well, then maybe potentially you could get another winger, sell Pirro to get another winger, and use Gnonto for.
Do you think Pirro could go?
I don't want him to go because I like him, but he's not being used. Yeah. Maybe a thing, going forward into the future towards the end of the season, you'll probably get to see him.
I don't even see that. Look at that Premier League glass. Bought that when we got promoted.
But yeah, there's yet more to come, and January, I think we do need to recruit. I think we need to recruit in the right areas, and it's up to Farke. There's no point having Pirro sitting on the bench from now till the end of the season and not utilising where you can.
What do you think Leeds need though? Obviously now,
I think fullbacks.
Everything looks rosy at the minute.
Another fullback that potentially can play right and left. We're already in midfield, so maybe a 10, a winger, or a striker, or one that can play all 3. I'd say 3 players on it.
I would like to get 3 as well. Like I'd be very surprised if Leeds United do go get 3. I would. I personally would like what you said. I'd like another striker just to give us that extra bit up front, and a creative player. I don't think that's probably outside the realms of possibility. We could go get someone creative that can play probably off the wing, or if we do decide to change it back to the 3-5-2 or the 4-2-3-1, that we can have someone that can play that 10 position as well. And as you said, maybe a little bit of cover and fullback as well. Now, I wouldn't be going high price if we can get someone decent and alone. Maybe one of the top Premier League clubs, if you get a fullback from them, that could cover that position as well. Like, I think you're right, Dylan, but 3 is a little bit too much.
Oh, you're asking for too much.
Look, I think we'll be asking for too much. Outgoings as well. You're probably going to see Illan Meslier go where he goes, or can sort out a pre-contract to move in the summer. Meslier is definitely going to go.
Even Max Warburton, that really irritates me. There's deadwood in this team that needs to go. Jack Harrison is certainly one of them. You know what? Now that I think about it, someone was talking to me about this the other day. Would it be a thing to recall Joffy?
I don't think so, Dylan. I don't like, and let us know in the chat as well what you think of recalling
I've
Joffrey.
always liked Joffrey, and we've seen at times you can do it in the Premier League.
I think I would leave Joffrey where he is, Dylan, at the minute, because he's enjoying his football.
Yeah,
he's learning his trade at the minute. He's scoring goals. He's happy where he is, and he's improving. I think that's a massive thing. He's still only a young player, and look, who knows what could happen. Like, players go out on loan, and at most clubs and most teams, when you see a player go out on loan, it always feels like that the player's gone, that he's never gonna come back. But you look at the likes of Matthias Klick, excuse me, when he was first brought into Leeds United, he went out on loan. We thought we'd never see him come on back and hit the ground running. Like, this can happen. Loans can help players along, can really make them the players that they should be and in the surroundings. And we've seen the last time when Joffrey went on loan to Hull City, he really thrived in that atmosphere. And he's doing the same thing now as well. So I would be reluctant to call him. I would like to see him get a full season in the Championship and really progress his game, really develop and see what way he is next season. If he can come back to Leeds United in the Premier League, then possibly. The one thing that probably irks me a little bit about Joffrey is we were crying out for a number 10 last season. We were crying out for that player that can sit in the hole, can create, can score goals. And
someone said that in the chat.
And Joffrey's doing that.
Yeah.
Joffrey's doing that. So that's probably a little bit of a side that I look at, that maybe could we utilise Joffrey a little bit more last year in games when Brendan Aronson was completely off his feet, being flagged, really drained of energy. Maybe Joffrey could have stepped in for a game or two and give us a little bit more. But I wouldn't recall him for long. I think he's enjoying himself, and I think it'd be harsh on the lad to take him out of that environment where he looks happy, he's scoring goals, he's enjoying his football, to bring him back to Leeds United and then probably not play football. I think it'd be a little bit harsh for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we move on to another topic that I'm going to bring up as well. I seen rumours and mixed messages about Harry Gray being
40 million.
Yeah, for Man City. So Darren, I'm going to bring the question to you, and I'm going to bring the question to everyone that's watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Do we get rid of him? And do we get rid of him, guys? Let us know in the chat. Is it a thing where Harry Gray needs to go? Or is it a thing? Well, look, I'll answer real quick. For me, I think, I'm kind of on the fence about it. You think about the future of Leeds United, and he potentially could be that. And then you think about the future.
Injured in January, says Kershaw there. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Or do you potentially think of the future of the club in the sense of investments? Is it a thing where we could get rid of him for the 40 million and buy, a handful of players, whether for the youth side or players for this season? What are you thinking? We got a few true comments anyway.
We'll get through a few of the comments here first. The comments are flying here. Stephen Bourne says, no, Joffrey is playing at his level, same as Joseph, a name that actually forgotten about. Exactly. I think leave Joffrey where he is. I wouldn't be pulling him out of that. He's really enjoying his football at the minute, so I definitely wouldn't be pulling him out of that situation. Sean Healy says, happy Christmas, you filthy animals. Big love to you too, pal. Hope it was a good one, pal. We need a difference maker. Joffrey is best still on loan. If he comes back, he'll be on the bench. I think so as well. I think he's best off staying at loan and employing his trade there. For 40 million, yes, that's obviously the Harry Gray one. I think it's an interesting one, Dylan. When I first seen Manchester City coming in, I was like, absolutely not. I was like, we need to keep hold of these players, develop them, because look at this is why they come through the academy at Leeds. You want that progression from a young age to making the first team, to playing for Leeds United, and then maybe selling them on as an asset if the club isn't quite where it should be. And look at, we have to be open-minded to that, where Leeds United are at the minute as a football club. It's very rare that you're going to get these academy players if a big club like the likes of Manchester City or Tottenham in Archie's situation come in looking for them. They're going to go to them clubs. Of course, when they come knocking, absolutely they are. But I think the likes of Harry Gray, like if 40 million is slapped on the table for a player that is improving, hasn't played football at this level, if Manchester City come in and slap down a £40 million bid for Harry Gray, it's going to be very, very hard for the club to say no to that, regardless of what me, you, or anybody else, any Leeds United fan thinks. Of course, we want one of our own, the great dynasties, to stay here, very much the same as Archie. It's going to be very hard for Leeds United to turn down £40 million for a player that hasn't barely kicked the ball for Leeds United. I mean, it's very hard. What could that do? What would that do to Leeds United? What would that do to PSR? Homegrown player. It's complete profit as well. And we know we don't want to think of this, but you have to think of what the 49ers are going to do and what the football club are going to do, and the stadium development is coming as well. So there's going to be a lot of finances going into that as well. So when money like that is thrown about you for a player that's unproven, of course the club are going to consider it. Absolutely. And I think any of our players, any of our players that are important to Leeds United. If a big money bid comes in for them, Leeds United are going to have to consider it. And unfortunately, that's just where we're at as a football club, because we're yet to be an established Premier League club yet. So I think so. Like, what's your thoughts?
I think, to bounce off exactly what you said, I think it's, you've the Leeds hat on and you're looking at the Gray dynasty and, the history of the club. You talk about Archie Gray, you talk about the Gray name itself.
I think Paul Brennan has a good one there, though, as well. Don't go to Manchester City, you'll end up being benched and chucked in the bin. And that's obviously just so if you look at the likes of Calvert-Phillips, Jack Grealish, players with really talented players have gone to the likes of Manchester City and just got lost in the system.
Like Daniel Farkas has said it loads of times, he's not talking about it anymore in the press conference. When he's ready, he's ready. He's young, leave him alone, sort of thing. And I get that, I do. Championship, he brought Archie Gray up. We've heard it loads of times about with Eddie talking about Harry's better. It's another thing to say about someone you're related to, but
still have you with Jacob. Jacob's coming
through as well, yeah. But I think, lads, for me, Harry has a bit more weight on his shoulders, considering that he's a striker. He needs to prove on the bench, or if he's starting, that he can score goals.
Yeah,
he's doing it in the youth system. Every time that he has came on for Leeds, he's looked tasty. He's not afraid to shoot. Yes, he is young. I would like to see him in there. Yeah. It's just me. It's the Leeds. I know they're talking about the future going forward and money. We need money in order to stay in the Premier League. I get that, but I don't care. I just love the fact that we go down this route.
You're like more like the romance side of it. Yes. It's that player coming through.
Just for that type of player, or not even a homegrown talent. Like obviously Calvin Phillips. I think it's a bit more sincere and a bit more, what would you say, nicer. The fact that because he's a Grey, I'd like to keep him here.
Yeah.
I think with Archie, we had to get rid of him because of PSR and Somerville and Rutter as well. Yeah. That was hard. It was hard for everyone. I think getting rid of Harry before he's even kicked the ball in a senior side is a bit of a. Yeah, but at the same time, I can understand the financial reason behind it. As you said, 40 million. Player that's not even kicked the ball. You're talking about the stadium expansion. It'd be hard not to.
Sean says, romance is dead, Dillo.
I thought you loved Tanaga. Sure, he'd be gone next season.
Let's take a look at the Premier League table, see where Leeds United are sitting at the moment. I'm going to cover your face there for a minute, Dylan. Probably some people's delight. So this is how it's looking at the minute for Leeds United. It's obviously looking a lot more rosier than what it did a couple of weeks ago when Leeds United were inside the bottom three, Dylan. We're now outside by 6 points. West Ham have Fulham in their next game. I believe Nottingham Forest have Man City at home as well. So if you can probably say West Ham, Fulham a draw, Man City to turn Nottingham Forest over at Leeds United, you could get a win up at Sunderland, it would look a lot better for Leeds United, wouldn't it? We could climb ourselves up the table. When you look at like another 3 points on that board, Dylan, it looks a lot more rosier for Leeds United. And in some of them games, when you look back, that we were very unlucky. And when you look at the likes of the Spurs, where I thought we should at least had a point out of that game, Newcastle at home, thought we should have all 3 points. Bournemouth as well when we conceded in the last minute. Like, it could look a lot better if we actually had picked up points in them games early on in the season. Leeds United could be mid-table. So, is it as bad as what we all thought it was?
I think the run that Fark was getting, we just constantly seemed to be losing games, and we were heading towards the Chelsea, Liverpool.
Read that out.
Smash a like and subscribe, please, for the lads. They're probably suffering with hangover doing this for us. Yeah,
that is the truth, Danny. Yeah, that is the truth. This is helping now,
lads. Thanks very much, because I am absolutely wrote off. I'm not gonna lie, I'm wrote off. Now I think the way Farkas set everything up and the run of games that we had, as I said, you're leading up to Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. We were all kind of nervous, shaking in our boots, as you would say. But yet again, Leeds always seem to put it up to the top 6 clubs. Obviously, we're at the Liverpool game. I thought the performance was brilliant to be able to come back and fight. Now, I know Liverpool were struggling, but forget about that. Leeds really did do well. Fark done well to set up everything. And it just all kind of fell into place. Chelsea game, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the City game, unlucky as well to a certain degree. You know, you fast forward Palace, like, let's be honest with you, Palace are a really good side. I know they were in Europe. They didn't start with their strongest squad, but this is where Leeds need to suffer with food. this really is need to grab it by both hands, and we certainly have. So, you know, we were talking about during the week, the lead up to Palace, about them playing in Europe and all, you know, like these types of things that we're trying to grab onto, you know, a bit of glimmer of hope.
Any little advantage you
yeah,
get.
exactly. And I think with Sunderland now, obviously with their players going to the AFCON Cup, there's no reason. There's no reason at all. And I know they went all out and they spent all their money and done it in the right way. But now it's starting to show, like Leeds is starting to shine through that we've done it a more sensible, structured way.
Yeah.
But that could come back to bite us. Time will tell. So I think with us going into this away fixture, especially, we need just to be at the races. We really do. We need no slow start, right set up, and just go for it. Just go for it.
Let's get through a couple of your guys' comments. Danny says, I'm predicting a 2-0 win tomorrow. Tomorrow Sunday. What day is today? Do you ever get that during Christmas? You're like, that period after Christmas Day to like New Year's Day, you just don't even know what day it is. Today is Friday, is it? Today is Friday. Yeah, the match is Sunday. 2 days. 2 days, Danny. Sunday is the game. What are you drinking, Danny? Danny said, I suffered from a food coma yesterday. I did as well, pal. Well, too much turkey. Can't sell Harry Gray for too long. Leeds United. Can't sell Harry for too long. Leeds United have been deprived. For too long, Leeds United have been deprived of a player. That's one of us on the pitch and living his dream. How good was it having Archie for the short time? And the same with Calvin Phillips as well. When you look back to Calvin Phillips, it's like he lived the dream, didn't he? Like Leeds through and through, born in the city, came up through the academy. And look at Calvin Phillips, how like he was very nearly sold in the summer during Higginbottom, I think it was, when he very nearly moved on when Alex Mowat was at the time, and it was a toss-up between two of them, whether Phillips goes or Alex Mowat goes, and Alex Mowat was the one that moved on. And I remember feeling at the time going, that should have been Calvin Phillips. Alex Mowat was, in my opinion, at that time was a lot better player than Calvin Phillips. But look at the player that he turned into, and what you know, that goes back to what Bielsa done, obviously turned him into an unbelievable player. But you're right, I think it's that romanticism, and I think every club, it's not just at Leeds United, every club wants to see that progression from the academy, born and bred Leeds United, and all the way through right up to the first team. And I think with Harry Gray, I would like to think that he says to himself, I want to stay at Leeds United and prove myself here, develop here first, get an opportunity. Because if he goes to Manchester City, he's not going to get in, he's not getting into that first team. I think he does a better career path. I know it's 40 million that's going to be slapped on the table, but for him, I would like him to say, I'll stay at Leeds United and try and get into this first team, try and build to be there, even if it's in the FA Cup. You know, if he can play any sort of minutes against Derby County, I'd be looking at that and try and build. And then when you're at a time, evaluate it then. Where's Leeds United at? Where am I at a career? What's the offers there? But I would like to see him develop a little bit more before he moves on to Manchester City personally. But it's the money. If 40 million is going to be slapped on the table, the club are going to accept it absolutely, regardless of what any of us say.
I think it's hard. I just think it's hard to look at it. It's the name. You know, you were talking about Calvin Phillips there, and I do get it. It's what Bielsa done. You know, there was a lot of hype around the city. You know, Bielsa brought that togetherness in the city amongst the fans. You know, people became new Leeds fans because of Bielsa. You know, fell in love with the club, and that's great. And it brings more noise to Leeds. With Gray and Archie, with Harry Gray and Archie Gray, they carry that name. It's a lot of weight on their shoulders to carry that name. Archie certainly has done it, and you know, wants obviously to develop into the player that he's going to be with Spurs. But let's be honest with you, lads, I don't know him personally, but I think if we weren't in that financial burden that we were in, I think Archie probably would have stayed here. Let's be honest with you.
I think if we got promoted,
I think he's seen the money. I said yes, but wanted Leeds to counter offer the money and didn't.
It was never going to happen.
No.
When you look at that playoff final, like, we lost a lot of talented players losing that playoff final, and that's obviously what happens when you stay in the championship. Obviously, Rutter ended up going, Somerville ended up going, Archie ended up going, and that makes you wonder if you came into the Premier League with that type of player, you know, how different would it have been. But then I look at that Leeds United side, like, were we really ready? What was the club ready to take that step up to the Premier League? Like, I'm not too sure, and it's always going to be hindsight. They're always going to look back and say, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But it is just that losing that playoff final, you look at the players then that had to be moved on, obviously for financial stability of the football club, and that comes first and foremost, Dylan, over everything and anything. And I know some fans get frustrated when we have to sell our big players, but we don't want to go back down the garden path of what we were at, you know, back in the early 2000s, when Leeds United were in a financial
Just
meltdown
fucking out
because of what we've done. So the financial stability of the football club, that's paramount to absolutely anything, whether it's regardless of running Championship or League One, whatever it may be. It's your club to be stable and to be able to work from day to day. So that's obviously what the owners are charged to do. So when a £40 million is slapped down for the likes of Harry Gray, they probably are going to take it, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. Let's get through a couple of the comments there, Dillo. What have we got here? Paul Brennan says, the man who changed Calvin Phillips' destiny was a legendary Marcelo Bielsa, or Mr. Bielsa. He made Calvin Phillips into the player he became, Mr. Bielsa. Calvin Phillips was going nowhere. Yeah, and he absolutely was. But like Phillips' career has taken an absolute nosedive since then. Robson Clark says, afternoon, boys. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas. Smash a like and subscribe and hype marching on together. Cheers, pal. Hope you had a good Christmas as well, brother. David says, we needed 34 million quid in a hurry, and that's what the offers for Somerville wasn't there. Absolutely. That's why he ended up that's how Archie ended up moving on, because they thought the offers were going to come in for the likes of your Somerville, so we'd be able to keep the likes of Archie, but we needed to meet the PSR deadline. I think it was by June. No offers came in for Somerville, and then Archie came in, and that's how he ended up being moved on, unfortunately. 38 in the building, guys. Please make sure you're smashing a like and hit that subscribe button as well if you are new here. Dylan, let's get back to Sunderland a little bit. Obviously, it is. We've gone through it a little bit. It's a big game for Leeds United, a chance for them on the road. Again, a little bit like the Palace game. There's an opportunity there for Leeds United where West Ham playing Fulham, with Forest playing Manchester City again. If Leeds United can go there, do the business, and results go our way, again, there's another opportunity to extend that gap, and it looks a little bit more rosy. But how's your feeling like ahead of the game? Because we all kind of get feelings as fans, don't we, of what we're thinking going into the game. Can Leeds United do it? Can we pick up a point? What's your feeling going into the game? Or are you feeling a little bit kind of, this could be one?
I'm always nervous for these types of games because we've created that gap. Leeds always let it go. We always seem to do so well. We all have hype. We all talk about the next game and how, the advantages of players going to the Afghan Cup from Sunderland and how well we're going to perform, and we need to do our own sort of game. And we do to a certain degree. And we're talking about there, Fulham obviously playing against West Ham, and what way would that look at City obviously playing Forest? Potentially, let's be honest with you, it should be City beating Forest. But yet again, it's going to be either us winning and the results not going our way, or the results going our way and us drawing. That seems to be always the key. But going into it, I would like to think, me as a fan and everyone else in the chat will probably agree, a 40 in the building, legends. Like, comment and subscribe. I think we need to just concentrate on our own game. I think if there's too much noise out the outside, it distracts the players. Palace was such a really good game. I think
West Ham and Fulham are tomorrow. So we'll kind of know going into our game of what way the land lies. And look, we know what we need to do. Go there, pick up a point or 3 points, and what we need to do.
I want 3 points.
So like what you said, but
a point would be good.
Tomorrow, if results do go our way, we go into that game a little bit more incentive if results do go our way. If Leeds can go there and pick up 3 points,
that's serious.
As what Kershaw said there, that would be massive for Leeds. If we can go up to Sunderland, particularly how well they're playing, how well their season has gone for them. And a lot of the noise, because there's been a lot of Leeds United fans looking at Sunderland and going, look what they're doing, why are they doing this, why are they doing that as well. And look, it's one of them teams. Like if you look at our first season in the Premier League under Marcelo Bielsa, when we first went up and finished 9th, that's probably Sunderland. That's probably what they're doing now, is that they're just rolling on from that high of getting promoted from so many years outside the Premier League, getting back, riding that crest of a wave. But next season, again, it's going to be, can Sunderland do it? Can they go again? It's always going to be that second season. For Leeds United this year, it's just about staying there. It's just about survival.
That's what it all is. From start to finish, you got down to Burnley as well. It's simply a fight for survival. I don't care where we finish as long as we stay in this league. I think the most important thing for us is just literally simply concentrating on our game. We seem to be the type of club that worries about everyone else and then not concentrating ourselves. Whatever else, this is a big game away from home, but also a newly promoted side similar to us. I know they spent a lot of money, but Leeds can't do it. I think a point would be great, and I would.
I'd take it. I'd take a point.
But I think 3 is really, really what you need to go
After
for.
this, like, if we can go get the 3, it would be unbelievable because you've got Liverpool and Anfield, obviously New Year's Day, and then you've got Scum at Ellen Road then on the 4th then as well.
Like,
so
you don't want 3 losses.
We know what we've done, and we always say these are challenging fixtures. So if Leeds can go to Sunderland, pick up a point or pick up all 3, again, you kind of go into that Liverpool game at Anfield. This is a free hit. The monkey's off the back. We can go and do it. We pick up 3 points at Sunderland, then the weight is off the Leeds United shoulders. We can go there and play with a little bit more freedom. Scum at home down at Ellen Road. It's going to be a packed out Ellen Road. It's going to be absolutely bouncing again. I'd back us every day of the week. I'd back us every day to beat them. So
I'm going to say 9 points out next year.
So Sunderland for me. What's your score prediction? And give us your score prediction for Sunderland. And using the chat as well, give us your score predictions ahead of Sunderland. Let us know what you are thinking.
We seem to be burying goals, and Calvert-Lewin's he's on it.
Calvert-Lewin get 3.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin hat-trick.
I'm going to say a high scoring game. I'm going to say 4-3.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be goals galore. I really do. I think Sunderland are at it, and
the Guinness at the end, the Dillo.
Yeah, it's gone. I'm actually going to say, yeah. No, Calvert-Lewin to get 2.
Put them on 9 goals.
Rodon. Tanaka.
Oh, nice. I think I'm going a little bit more reserved than you. I probably think there's going to be goals in the game, but I think a 2-2 draw. I think a 2-2 draw up there. I think they'll probably score. I think they'll be bouncing after Christmas. Stadium it's a bit of a feel-good factor up there in the northeast. So I think Sunderland will score first. Leeds United come back into it. They'll probably get another one, and then Calvert-Lewin again gets another one. I'd like to see Calvert-Lewin keep going. I'd like to see him just keep ticking them off. I'd love to see him get anywhere near that 15, 20 goal mark is probably a little bit outside the reach. But to be on 7 goals already, I'd love to see him just keep ticking them off. Goes into the New Year's Day. If he could be on, say, 8 or 9 games going into that game against Liverpool or Manchester United, would obviously be absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go with 2-2 draw. Sean Healy says 3-1 Leeds, DCL double and Tanaka. Oh, of course, that would be fantastic. DCL versus Bollard could be tasty. Good shout, Robbie. It actually could be. Didn't even think of that matchup. Don't want to course out, but my tip is 1-1. I would take it. I would take a draw up the Stadium United. Not bad at all. My score is DCL and Bogle. Yeah, would like to see Bogle get back on the score sheet. We need to flood the box and supply DCL. I think we agree with that, Dylan, don't we? Good quality crosses into the box to DCL will do it. The atmosphere will be on fire. It should be a cracking match, and it absolutely will be. But look, lads, I think we will wrap it up there. Thanks very much for popping in. As you said, a little bit of a different stream, not something that we always do, but Dylan popped down and we said we'll sit here, we'll have a pint of Guinness, and we'll chat with you guys. So hope it was a good Christmas. Hope you enjoyed the stream. If you have, please make sure you're dropping a like on the video. Dillo, and to say before we wrap it up.
I just hope Leeds win now. It's in my head. Oh, thanks everyone. You know, as we always said at the last video we done, you know, we can't do this without you guys. So thanks everyone that did like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. And we'll see you in the new year. Oh, well, we'll see you before the new year.
Of course, we'll see you before the new year. And yeah, as Dylan says, we can't do it without you guys. So again, thanks very much for all the support that you've given Leeds Bros through a very bumpy year, an up and down year. And we try and do things a little bit different here, as you can probably tell, sitting there having a pint of Guinness. I don't think there's many other Leeds channels that will sit and have a pint of Guinness and have a chat about Leeds United. So we do try and do things a little bit differently. But that's it from us, guys. Mind yourselves, mind each other. Have a fantastic Boxing Day / Stephen's Day. And we'll chat to you again soon. Mind yourselves, mind each other. We'll catch you in the next one.